Well, the intro to this episode is ruined because I still can't find that list of the shocking amount of overly specific connections that made this matchup just way too good. So, all we're left with is Green Island Rocks. Great matchup. I guess one's voiced by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and the other one people wanted to be voiced by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for some reason. Thank goodness it's Idris Elba. But anyways, there's no point in dwelling over my missing list. Let's just jump right into the episode. According to the Discord poll, the winner of this fight is going to be Knuckles the Echidna, but Maui did have his supporters as well. So let's find out who's gonna win. That's right, they're both orphans too. So yeah, that's another one. Anyways, let's find out who wins. From the outside, the abilities and arsenal category is pretty tricky to determine a winner for. While Knuckles very clearly has the advantage in the number of tools he has, Maui has one tool with a bunch of different uses. So to figure out who should get the point here, we'll have to look a bit deeper. When we come to Knuckles, as his name implies, he's really good at punching and fighting. He even knows a vague form of martial arts. The specific kind was never specified. It must be a pretty good one though, because he can punch so hard it creates explosions. I want to learn how to do that. Those spikes on his gloves aren't just for more painful hits either. He can also dig into the ground with them, burrowing tunnels, climbing up walls, and he can even get through harder surfaces like solid metal with the shovel claws. They're not just for traversal though. These spike gloves can also pull up rocks from the ground to be thrown at enemies. Then we have his ability to glide, and with chaos energy he can do even more. As Guardian of the Master Emerald, he has a unique relationship with its power, able to detect it and draw energy from it even when he's far away. He can use it to enhance his own strength or even manipulate the chaos energy inside another person, like when he surprised Supersonic and reverted him back to his base form. He does have a couple weaknesses in the form of being easy to manipulate and being pretty hot-tempered, but in Knuckles' case, I think the good outweighs the bad. When we come to Maui, he may not have quite as much stuff as Knuckles, but the stuff he does have is pretty useful. Naturally, he's incredibly strong, incredibly fast, and incredibly agile as he's able to leap great distances at blinding speeds. He can also blow mighty gusts of wind, but things don't really get going until he has his fish hook. With it, he's able to channel divine energy and harm other deities or use it to shapeshift into just about any animal, gaining the abilities that comes with them. The flight of a giant hawk, the poison that many reptiles have, gills for breathing underwater when he becomes sea creatures, and he can even go half and half with them. A big weakness though is that Maui's hook is in fact breakable, and without it, he can't do these shape-shifting powers. As sweet as it may be for the optimistic Moana to tell Maui that he isn't nothing without his hook, she's unfortunately wrong, as this would remove a massive part of Maui's skill set, which is why I think this category should go to Knuckles. Let's take a look at what the YouTube comments are saying though. The category of speed is a lot more obvious, so I'm not gonna waste any time. It's Knuckles. Maui isn't entirely hopeless here though. He's able to trade blows with Tekka, who can command lightning. So while his travel speed may be limited to whatever the fastest animal is he can shapeshift into, likely a falcon that can reach 240 miles per hour when diving, I think it's okay to be a bit more generous with his reactions and even his combat speed in the massively hypersonic range. Knuckles of course dwarfs this though. His own punch that creates explosions can be calculated to speeds of Mach 5. And while not as fast as Sonic, he does do a pretty good job at keeping up. Sonic is quick enough to casually create sonic booms, and according to Gamma, a robot who would have no reason to lie or over-exaggerate, Sonic can apparently reach speeds matching that of light itself. This isn't a baseless analysis either, as Sonic has dodged lasers before, and even moved as a laser himself with one of the Wisps. And as for travel speed, he was able to briefly outpace an artificial black hole. Yes, it wasn't a real black hole, and it did catch up to Sonic eventually, but we can be a bit more generous here considering everything else he's done. Things get close and tricky to figure out again though as we move on to strength. For Maui, we know he can pull up entire islands with his magical fish hook. It's kind of his whole deal. Plus he has more stuff that he stated he's able to do in his song, You're Welcome. Like burying eel guts to make coconuts, or lassoing the sun. Don't get excited, this doesn't mean Maui is star level. In Polynesian mythology, the sun is actually another deity named Tamanui Tera. And Maui's lassoing of this son was setting a trap and catching him in a snare. The reason for this being they wanted longer days so they wouldn't have to rush through work and chores. If Maui was a completely original character created by Disney themselves, then we probably could give him star level since he gets his tattoos after he does the things. But since he's based off mythology, we have to take that into account. Not to mention that Maui doesn't do anything else that's consistent with star level feats. Even his other insane feats like lifting up the sky has been calculated to only 24 gigatons of TNT, or island level, consistent with his other stuff. But thankfully for Knuckles, he has that consistency too. He's able to draw energy from the Master Emerald, which has enough power to keep Angel Island floating. And while Sonic is able to toy around with Knuckles pretty easily in their many battles, that's mostly due to his incredible speed advantage. Knuckles undoubtedly has the strength advantage there. And that's saying a lot considering Sonic can now casually beat Perfect Chaos in his base form, a water monster who can flood entire cities. Then there's the time he punched a receiver on the moon, creating an explosion that was visible from space, which has been calculated to 6 gigatons of TNT. So in the end, I guess Maui has to take this category. While they are both island level, Maui has the higher feats. Knuckles is capping at 6 gigatons and Maui's capping at 24 gigatons, a 4 times power difference. But let's see what the Discord predictions think, as well as a video prediction from... no video prediction this episode? When there's a Sonic character involved? You guys okay? Huh. Well, oh no. For this extra segment, there's not really any unique attributes either of these characters have to mention. So instead, I'll explain further and emphasize why these characters are placed at these certain stats, and why certain things have been left out. For Maui's side, I've already explained that some of it has to do with mythology, but there's also the fact that he wasn't able to defeat Tamatoa, or Teka, spoilers, Te Fiti. Now Te Fiti isn't part of Polynesian mythology. She shares some similarities to Pele, a volcano deity, but ultimately she's a Disney-only creation, and her heart has been shown to have the power to manipulate and grow islands. Nothing quite on a cosmic level, so no alternate routes to star level for Maui. As for Knuckles, there's a pretty big part of his arsenal that I did not mention at all. Super Knuckles and Hyper Knuckles. Well, for one, to transform into his super forms, it requires prep time, collecting all the Chaos Emeralds and Super Emeralds if he wants to go Hyper. And then there's the fact that we haven't really seen Super or Hyper Knuckles in the game's continuity since Sonic 3, and even then it was Super Sonic that did all the plot canon stuff, while Super Tails and Knuckles and Hyper Knuckles are more what-if characters. I'm not saying Knuckles' transformations don't exist and shouldn't be taken into consideration for versus debates, just not this one. It doesn't matter anyways though, because even without them, the winner is still Knuckles the Echidna. Yes, Maui has a pretty good strength advantage, being 4 times stronger than Knuckles, but Knuckles is over 2,000 times faster than Maui, and that's when we were being generous with Maui. Knuckles also has the power to cripple Maui's arsenal by destroying his fishhook, while also having the better arsenal himself, able to counter Maui's divine energy with his chaos energy manipulation. Add in his superior traversal skills with his gliding, climbing, and digging compared to Maui's just fancy jumping around, and he has the mobility advantage too. Maui may have been tough, but he's getting served a knuckle sandwich. Thank you all for predicting in this episode. Let me know what you think of this outcome in the comment section below, as well as your predictions for next episode. You can leave a prediction in the comment section, in my Discord server, voting in the poll in my Discord server, or of course, making a video prediction. Those are always welcome, especially this episode. Now let's see who's next. Thankfully, the connections are easy to remember this time, and I don't need a list. These two heavily inspired by retro video game characters in their heavily inspired by retro anime world simply want to be the #1 best in their field. It's KO from OKKO versus Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes.